Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in to our next episode of the virtual Heart of the Business Conference. I'm Tom Jacobs, and along with my co-producers, Rita Hernandez-Figge, Jake Bartelt, and the rest of the team at MedHQ, we thank you for watching the virtual Heart of the Business Conference. We're joined by John Page, our host and discussion moderator, as well as today, our special guest, Liz Abunaw, the founder and CEO of 40 Acres Fresh Market. The purpose of the Heart of the Business Conference is to gather people together who are interested in the topics around wellness and well-being. That is, well-being for individuals as well as the companies and organizations for which we all work. Also, as part of our conference, we're collecting donations on behalf of the Metro Chicago Heart Walk. Thank you for your donations, and thank you for watching this episode of the virtual Heart of the Business Conference. All proceeds collected from you, and we mean all proceeds collected, will be delivered directly to the Metro Chicago Heart Walk. This is an event created by the American Heart Association to attract community involvement and financial support for the AHA. In fact, MedHQ is also donating to the Heart Walk through 100% matching contributions, dollar for dollar. We are also fortunate to have many wonderful sponsors supporting our efforts and those of the Metro Chicago Heart Walk. But today, we just want to say thank you for the American Heart Association and the Metro Chicago Heart Walk for all that they do for our community. In today's episode, our host, John Page, will dialogue with Liz Abunaw. Liz joins us from 40 Acres Fresh Market, and she and John will discuss Liz's incredible adventure in founding and growing 40 Acres Fresh Market. With all that said, John and Liz, please take it away.
Hi, this is John Page. I'm here with Liz Abunaw today. Liz is the CEO and founder of 40 Acres Fresh Market here in wonderful Chicagoland. Liz, welcome to MedHQ's Heart of the Business. Welcome to join us today.
Thanks for having me. You called me a CEO. That's cute.
Hey, I work with only CEOs and business owners, so this is a distinct pleasure because not only somebody that is in business, but is in a service business that is helping her community. That is fantastic. Must make you feel great.
It does. I think I've gotten more fulfillment and satisfaction out of being the owner of 40 Acres than I ever did when in like my 15 years in corporate. Like, shout out to the companies I used to work for. And I learned a lot from them, but this is just so much more fulfilling.
That's always good because you recognize what you did back then got you to where you are. And now your heart is driving you. That is the best thing you can do. So tell me a little bit about 40 Acres Fresh Market.
Yeah, so 40 Acres Fresh Market is a grocery startup. We operate on the west side of Chicago, and our specific focus and mission is to increase access to affordable fresh food in underserved neighborhoods, while also rebuilding and revitalizing neighborhood economies.
That is important, especially in these difficult times. Access to fresh, nutritious food is important. I mean, we've talked in the past about Chicago's huge discrepancy in longevity and life expectancy, within a 5-mile area. And I mean, you are helping to change that bad statistics into something better, right?
That's the goal. It's, when inequality doesn't happen overnight and the effects of inequality don't appear overnight and they don't go away overnight either. Even with intervention, even with a concerted effort, it takes a long time to dismantle all of the effects, the secondary, the tertiary effects of inequality. And we talk inequality, we're talking everything from divestment from communities. So businesses just closing their doors and saying, we're not going to serve this neighborhood anymore. We're going to move a mile down the road. And it's interesting because even when they move a mile down the road and they're in a whole nother town with a whole nother demographic, they're still expecting the people from the community that they just left to support them over there. And
And sometimes they don't have a choice, right? Because
if it's not where I live, I have to leave my neighborhood to go get what I need. And what that does is it siphons disposable income out of that community. That community doesn't get those tax dollars. It doesn't get that revenue. It doesn't get that economy that the neighborhood community gets. And it further fuels inequality. And that inequality manifests itself, environmentally. It manifests itself economically, and it manifests itself in particular when it comes to health outcomes.
And some of these long-standing issues have been there, since the 60s, right? I mean,
yeah.
We think about Chicago in 1968. Some of these food deserts have been there for generations at this point.
I'm not from Chicago. I am a very proud New York girl. We have the best pizza. I don't care what you say. Deep dish
I'm from New York too, my dear. I know that.
Yes, you get me. You totally get me. Thank you. New York thin crust is real pizza. Anyway, we digress. When I moved to Chicago, I have always lived in neighborhoods that were either past the point of gentrification. So like the gentrification already happened. It's like that up and coming neighborhood. So the South Loop, West Town. And I didn't discover the Austin neighborhood until I probably had lived here for about 4 years.
Okay.
4 or 5 years. And one of the things that people in Austin always tell me, especially longtime residents, is they remember when they had, I like to call them quote unquote nice things. They remember when like the Buddy Bear grocery store was there or the Jewel Osco was there. They remember when corridors were vibrant with small local businesses. And so for them, if you've lived in Austin since at least probably like in the 1980s, 1990s, you've seen the divestment. You've seen like your favorite spots close and open up shop elsewhere, or you've seen local family-owned businesses where they just didn't have a succession plan and there was nobody to take its place because nobody thought that real estate was super desirable for the next store. So they've seen it and they've felt it. They have felt that neglect and watching it happen over decades.
And I mean, when I moved to Chicago in 1991, I went, my first foray to the West Side was by the old Brock's Candy Factory.
Yeah.
I was amazed at how destitute it was. I mean, there was no business. There were no people on the streets. There was nothing there. And I'm looking at this going, this is so close to downtown in New York. This would never be there because, I mean, Reading, Pennsylvania is now a suburb of New York City. And
yeah.
You are, 3 miles from downtown Loop, and you've got nothing. I couldn't imagine that. I mean, I could not imagine living there. So I can only, my heart bleeds when I think that 30 years later, some things still haven't changed, that we still have food deserts. We still have people that have to get up on the bus and go to a Jewel in another neighborhood or in another suburb somewhere. That's terrible. So you're doing a great job. I applaud you. That is great. What got you started doing this?
Insanity. I think any entrepreneur will tell you have to be a little bit crazy to start your own business. It's not for the faint of heart. For me, it was a chance encounter. It was just a chance time getting lost in the Austin neighborhood, not realizing that was where I was going. Before 2016, I thought that if you were far enough west, if you went beyond Cicero in Chicago, then you were either near O'Hare or you were near Midway. There was nothing else west of Cicero that was not O'Hare or Midway. So I thought that that's where I was going, but I wound up in the Austin community, and it was the first time that I personally had difficulty putting my hands on basic goods and services like a bank, a grocery store, a pharmacy. And it didn't sit well with me. It didn't sit well with me knowing that I have always lived in predominantly white areas of Chicago. And in those neighborhoods, I can get whatever I want within max a 10-minute walk from my house.
And probably 24 hours a day.
Any time of day that I want to. any time of day that I want to, or it's a quick bus ride, or if I have to use my car because I'm being lazy, I'm not sitting in traffic, traveling miles and miles. And so then to go into a predominantly Black neighborhood, a predominantly working class neighborhood, and that is filled with people, because Austin's like the second most populous neighborhood in Chicago,
Okay.
and see a major commercial corridor basically vacant, where you can't get anything for more than a mile. That inequality stirred something in me that just said, this isn't right. And then it was a combination of looking at things that I liked in my neighborhood. One of those things was this low-cost produce market that has now since closed. It was called Stanley's on North.
Okay. I know exactly where
You know
Stanley.
Stanley's. Everybody knows Stanley's. I loved it. And I think one day I was there buying strawberries for $1, and something just clicked in my head. And I was like, I'm in Lincoln Park, one of the most wealthy neighborhoods in Chicago, buying strawberries for $1.
Yep.
But I was in Austin and I couldn't find a strawberry anywhere. Somebody should put something like this over in Austin. And that idea just kept percolating in my head until one day I was like, I want to try to do this.
That is so from that 2016 acorn, a mighty oak is beginning to sprout, right?
I would say I wouldn't call it mighty yet.
Yeah, right. But it's coming.
It has definitely grown faster and further than I could have imagined. Once I got over my naivete. My naivete initially told me that, like, oh, hey, you can come in and do a few pop-up markets and it's going to be such a runaway success, and then you're going to get a building and build a store, and within 6 months you're going to be open. That I was quickly disabused of that notion. So the progress that we've made to date, in terms of everything from funding to expanding our services, has been nothing short of, like, for me, it's been incredible to watch, because there were days when I first started where I was like, I don't see a path forward. And now I really do.
One of the things you will recognize in working with CEOs, I understand that they have worked 10 or 15 years to become that overnight success that everybody believes. So you were at the cusp. I'm sure that you're working hard, but it's only been 4 years, right?
Two, actually. So we launched in 2018. So the idea came to me in late 2016.
Okay.
I didn't do anything really with it for about a year. And then fate would so happen that where I was working, my job was eliminated. And I looked at my situation and I was like, I don't have a ton of responsibilities. I was paid pretty handsomely. I have savings. I have enough to support myself while I go try this. So in late 2017 is when I made the decision. I went and got a tax ID number. I started talking to people in the Austin community. I found a location for my first pop-up, and in January 2018, we launched it.
And is that how this is materialized to date, is really through pop-ups and things like that?
That is our bread, and that is what we're known for. It's our bread and butter.
Okay.
People are always asking, when's your next market? And we got really, really good at going into existing spaces in the community and transforming them into a produce market for the neighborhood for a day or even a weekend. And the more we did it, the more people wanted us to do it. And so we started getting invited places like, hey, we're having this event. Can you bring your pop-up market? So we started modifying it to a modified produce stand. So we would do big markets, we would do small produce stands, and then we even added in a delivery service. And for about the first almost 2 years, I was doing all of that myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do your customers find out about you? Do you have a website that they look at and see where you're going to be during certain times of the week?
Yeah. So social media, so Facebook, Instagram has gotten has really blown up for us, especially this year in terms of people finding us. We also have a website, 40acresfreshmarket.com. So the name on the shirt.com. And so we keep our calendar up there. Right now, we're only doing one market a week. So we have contracted with the city of Chicago, and we run the city market at Austin Town Hall. It's not just us. We brought some friends with us. So we have Cater to You Catering, the founder and chef Patty Ringo. She does food demonstration and safe sampling, so in serve
Okay.
safe containers. Two Sisters Catering, another Austin-based business,
Okay.
does prepared meals. She has an amazing meatloaf and baked chicken dinner. Absolutely incredible. She usually sells out. Danny's Detox Juices, another Black-owned business. She does delicious cold press, 100% juices. And one of my personal favorites is Finding Justice Flower and Vegetable Garden. It's an Austin resident who has his own farm on the south side of Chicago.
Wow.
Came through the Windy City Incubator Program.
Okay.
And so he's a farmer and he sells Chicago farm-raised produce at the Austin Town Hall Market. So we're all there kind of creating this bazaar or small farmers market for the Austin community. And they really like it, appreciate it. Our avenues of advertising have kind of been cut off from us because we used to do a lot of community outreach at events and there are no events anymore.
Okay.
So we really depend now on like email lists, our website,
Mouth, I
social media.
presume, right? People that have taken advantage of you, word of mouth is a
Word
big...
of mouth has been incredible. So people hear about us, especially our delivery service. That really took off through word of mouth. People were posting their produce boxes that they would get from us and tagging their friends. And then their friends were like, "Where did you get this? We have to get one too."
Do you actually deliver to people?
We deliver to people's homes. We have our delivery drivers out right now doing the Friday delivery route.
And do you have this 12 months out of the year? So year round, you have
year round. We operate daily.
Market. And pre-COVID, you would have done multiple events in a week, I presume, right?
Yeah. So pre-COVID, we would have at least one produce stand a week. We also had a monthly weekend-long pop-up market in the Austin community. So it was a full-service, full-scale produce market carrying over anywhere from 70 to 80 varieties of fruits and vegetables that people could come in and shop. And people absolutely loved it. They saw that big, tall, fresh produce sign go up and they would know to come in and they could get their cabbage, their greens, their squash, apples. People would come in like, "You guys got kiwi, you guys got mangoes, you guys got pineapples." Yes. So people were totally excited.
That is all fresh and all available.
Yeah, all available at really reasonable, affordable prices. People were telling us that like they were saving anywhere from 25 to 30% versus going to other grocery stores.
And being able to get it fresh. That is fabulous because we all know nutrition means fresh. It isn't, frozen. It isn't in a can. It isn't with added salt. Those green beans that you can get at a fresh market are so much better than the ones that you can get in a can.
Oh yeah. If you like canned green beans, then fresh green beans will take you to a whole nother level.
Oh, absolutely. How did you get connected with the Heart Association?
So Facebook is our friend. Somebody had posted something about the American Heart Association Social Impact Fund when they were doing the call for applications for funding. And I saw two things. It said, "We are looking to fund efforts that impact the social determinants of health." And so one of the listed social determinants of health was food access. And I was like, that's us. And then it said, "We will fund nonprofit organizations, entrepreneurs." I was like, that's me. And so we applied. We'd already formed a partnership with Westside Health Authority, an Austin-based nonprofit. And what we proposed was we want to build out the delivery service of our business. We could use some funding to help do that, for vehicles, for staffing. And we committed to doing our hiring through the Westside Health Authority's reentry program. So we were not only impacting food access, we were also impacting another social determinant of health, which is income and job availability.
Okay.
And so for people who have barriers to employment, we wanted to make sure that we were doing our part to help them reintegrate into the community, stay with their families, and be able to support themselves and their families in a way where they could grow and kind of leave aside the things that may have gotten them incarcerated in the first place.
Okay. Hey, I'll go into making a healthy community and a healthy person. That is
Exactly.
fabulous. You've got to feel good. I mean, not only having had a successful career, then using that to leverage into heart work, not just heart association work, but work that fills your heart. You got to feel good about that.
I do. It is a lot. I have never worked so hard in my life, but it's very much so worth it. And
Never worked so hard, but never worked so good either, right?
never.
That is fabulous. I mean, you have a very inspiring story, Liz, and I know that people in your community have to love you. You've got to be the produce lady, right? So
I am.
Are you?
I am.
I
They don't know
know.
my name, but they're like, "That's 40 acres, 40 acres lady, or you're the fruits and vegetables lady." And I'm like, I do have a name, but I'll take it. Thanks.
It's good to be known for something good, and
Yeah.
I can tell just by the energy in your voice and the smile on your face that you're doing great jobs for your community, and for that I applaud you.
One of the things that I was really adamant about is I wanted 40 Acres to operate as a small business. So we are an LLC because I wanted the community to have that tax generator in the community because it needs it. It needs that tax base. What we do is we do partner with 501c3s through our Get One, Give One program. So we actually our delivery service is expanded, through the entire city of Chicago. So if you live in the city of Chicago, we will deliver produce to you. And so what we offer customers a chance to do is get one box and then give a box. So they buy another box for donation to one of our community partners like Catholic Charities, who they then give the boxes to families in need. So Catholic Charities, A House in Austin, Westside Health Authority, who's another one? It's on the top of my head. River City Community Church, By the Hand Club. So customers purchase boxes for donation and we give them to these organizations and they get them to families in need really quickly.
That is fabulous. We need to find a way to work together, my friend. New York has got to stick together, right?
Yes, we do. New York strong.
Hey, that's right. We're in Chicago, but we have our basis in New York, and that fine pizza, along with the cannolis and things like that, Arthur Avenue.
Yes.
I'm good with that.
Yeah,
Liz, it has been a distinct pleasure talking to you today on Heart of the Business here with MedHQ. Thank you so much for spending some time and giving us an uplifting message.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Be well, Liz.
You too.